UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Welcome to this third special audio commentary for the patrons of the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host, Brandon-Shea Mutella, and you know what? I've got troubles. And you know what troubles I have? I've got troubles with Zach.
I have 99 troubles, and Brandon ain't one.
That's right. I got probably 99 troubles with this episode that we're about to talk about. So I tweeted out something. So before we get into this commentary, I tweeted out something a little while ago. And, you know, Zach and I did a commentary over on Standard Orbit, which is a Trek FM podcast that he used to do. And it was for And the Children Shall Lead. Mm-hmm. And we both agree that that is the worst episode of the original Star Trek.
Correct.
Yes. Now, I also think... I didn't think it was the worst episode of Star Trek, but it was pretty close. Did you think it was the worst episode of Star Trek?
No. But I have a certain... I'm biased for the original series, so yeah. But I do think it's in the bottom 10 in the franchise, so we'll put it that way. I'm sure there's other episodes from other series that exist in that same space.
Yeah.
But yes, as far as the original series proper is concerned, we agree that is the worst.
Now, I think that the worst episode of Star Trek all around is Distant Voices from Deep Space Nine when Bashir gets really old.
That's such a bizarre, least episode to have.
It's terrible.
It's fun. What's so bad about it?
You know, when what's his name? Alexander Siddig there tries to go weird. I don't like him. Okay. You know, I don't like that.
Like
I don't
in the
like
passenger.
In the passenger when he goes all
fit as a fiddle.
Oh, Ventica. Yeah, no, I don't like that stuff. So
we should definitely do a commentary on both those episodes, Brandon.
Yeah, we definitely should, absolutely. But I've actually now had something supersede all of them, and I now have a new least favorite episode of Star Trek, and that is The Trouble with Edward.
I have given a name to my pain. It is The Trouble with Edward.
Yes. So I think that'd be a fun place to start with a commentary here. Now, there's lots of reasons why I don't like this. I mean, I like comedy. This episode just didn't work with me. So, should we just, jump into it then?
Let's jump into it, Brandon.
Do you have any, before we start, any hot takes like that to share? Is this your new least favorite or anything like that?
This is an embarrassing entry into the Star Trek catalog. That's all I'll say for now. But we have a lot to unpack as we watch it. So
yeah, I think so. Okay, so I will go 3, 2, 1, play, and when I say the word play, hit play if you want to watch along. My timer shows 14 minutes and 38 seconds left in this episode.
That's 14 minutes and 38 seconds too much, if you ask me. But let's go.
I think so. But I will start with as soon as I hit play, I'll start with what I actually think is going on in this episode. So 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, here we go. Short Trek. There's our Discovery. That's even though none of these have taken place on the Discovery.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird.
I think they could have updated the opening graphic.
Enterprise go by. Okay, tribbles. Look at them multiply. Okay, so what I actually think is going on in this, and then if you guys have hopefully seen this before, I think that this new captain, Lucero, is lying the entire time to cover her own butt for her ineptitude as a commander. And if you start with this scene, just the awe that Pike is showing to her, to me, even there, doesn't even ring true. And her own self-pride that's going on in this scene is look at how awesome I am. And it's not, I don't know, you can say if it's because it's a woman, I don't think that at all. I just think that that's, in my headcanon, that's how this all fits, is she is lying through her teeth from the beginning of this episode. So, what do you think about that, Zach?
So you're saying that this is her telling what happened to those to the admirals at the end?
Yep.
And the only thing we actually see that in real time, so to speak, is her in front of the Council of Admirals there.
Yes.
So she's like, hey, Captain Pike loved me, thought it was great, that kind of stuff, right? Everything started so well. They had this idiot officer. Okay. How do you explain the TV commercial at the end?
How do I explain it? I don't know. I don't get to explain that one. But
this is again, they're like, hey, we're gonna have 3 short treks on Pike's Enterprise. Oh, that's great. I can't wait to see more of that. And then he's in this
for a minute.
For again, 1 minute and 43 seconds, and he's gone. And they heavily promoted this with him in it, which is just more bait and switch, right?
Right, but we got to promote what the fans seem to really want. So
right.
I like this ship. This is a neat looking ship. I like this design. I think it's pretty cool. So now,
I've described this episode to people like, it's like, hey guys, you remember Hollow Pursuits? Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that episode, but if Barkley was a completely irredeemable character with no actual technical skill, was rude to everyone, and then Picard was a complete jerk to him as well, let him die at the end, and then blamed it on Barkley. That is how I explain this episode to people. Am I off base, Brandon?
No, that's a very accurate summary. One thing I do love about this is you notice that this is a science ship, and everybody here is wearing blue.
That's true, but everyone on the Discovery also wears blue. So
no, because they've got also like the blue, and they've got the silver. Right, they got the silver on one, and they got kind of like a different color for the other one, right? So, but this is just the blue, the exclusive uniforms to the Enterprise,
right?
They've got here.
I got you.
Yeah,
but they don't have the black collars though,
right? So, which is okay. So it's somewhere in between. So, anywho,
so the Tribbles,
like scallops?
Right?
Do you like scallops?
I've never had a scallop. I don't think.
Really? They're good.
Maybe I have. Now that I think about it. But the Tribbles, yes, you can argue with me that the first contact with the Tribbles wasn't necessarily trouble with Tribbles. I don't know. It seemed to me, presented in that episode, Starfleet had never heard of Tribbles before that encounter. Am I wrong, Brandon?
No, that's the impression that I get as well. And so I don't know. Like, it's weird because they're trying to say that this takes place in that timeline. And while I'm not really a canon stickler, I know that in the last commentary we were picking apart the continuity of that episode. That it's weird to choose such a fan favorite, not villain, but antagonist as the Tribbles, and then have something that flies in the stuff that they showed us in there. Like McCoy is discovering these Tribbles,
he's completely
and why
unfamiliar with their biology. Yes,
completely unfamiliar, doesn't know what's going on, and here we are on a Starfleet ship. That he would have access to that information. It's just weird that they pick a fan favorite like the Tribbles and then change everything. That's all.
No, absolutely no. It's like that's the thing too. It's like like the Gorn skeleton in Lorca's ready room. We never encountered the Gorn before that, but it's like I know what a Gorn is, right? It's stuff like that. I understand. It's when I've gotten to talking about this a lot lately. It's like fan service that the creators think it's fan service, but in actuality, it's like no. It's kind of frustrating, really.
Right.
But with the Tribbles, right? He's like, the only problem with the Tribbles is they breed slowly. So
Yeah.
I know what I'll do. I'll incorporate the DNA of a species that it takes 9 months to gestate a child, and humans, and that will make them reproduce like rabbits. Makes no sense.
And
right?
not only that, but like adding the male, which doesn't even gestate the babies.
Yes, that's no sense.
Right.
So like this episode across the board, it fails just on a conceptual level. It fails on a continuity level, and frankly, it fails on a comedy level because, as we'll see coming up here in our next scene, in our next couple scenes, like they go out of their way to like, ha ha, isn't this funny? This guy's an idiot. We're gonna. It's like no, it comes off like a bad skit.
It does, because look at how wonderful she's getting along with her crew. They're all laughing and loving her. I'm so wonderful. I'm this wonderful captain, and this guy is just so incompetent. Look what he did. He injected himself, right? And how else can I show that this guy is completely and totally incompetent? I mean, he's a genius, right? But let's sit him down, and this scene is like awkward, and I also don't like that kind of comedy. So that's another reason why this doesn't work. Like they do this a lot on Family Guy, and when they do this on Family Guy, it doesn't work for me usually. These long, awkward running jokes that just keep going. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
It's like these people are Starfleet officers. This is the 23rd century. Like, this guy would not be flooding the inbox of Starfleet Command, bad-mouthing his captain anonymously, right? That's just not who we are at that point in time. And this whole conversation here is just ridiculous. Like, the conversation's over.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But I obviously Starfleet would have gotten some type of complaint about the captain. But again, she's justifying the complaint that it came from the moron, when in my head, it was actually a perfectly legitimate complaint. And she's just trying to pass it off by saying, no, it was the moron who sent in this complaint anonymously to make herself look better on the stand at the end. Right? Because Starfleet would have received a complaint. If she's on the stand talking about this, they would have been like, well, what about the complaint we got about you? Oh, yeah, it came from this moron.
Oh, I see.
Right?
That's
because they would have gotten that complaint.
That is an interesting point of view, but that's definitely not their intention here. I think that's a fun way to frame it for you as a viewer, but I definitely don't think that was their intent making this. I think their intent was, isn't this funny? We have this idiot guy, and she's shutting him down because he's an idiot, and he's going to go make the tribbles. Isn't that funny? No, this is not how professionals should talk to each other.
No.
Like who is the hero here? Who are we supposed to identify with?
She's the greatest captain ever.
But that is the worst. Conversation's over. It's like a skit. Like you were saying, that's all it is. And then let's have him wander around in his underwear. Isn't that funny? This is
he's a moron.
Lowbrow. It's just such lowbrow humor.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just doesn't call me a purist for Star Trek. I don't think this fits in Star Trek. Frankly,
right.
That's
now.
All right, come down on it.
I'm going to add. The comedy in Star Trek 09 also doesn't work for me. That whole scene where they inject Kirk with the hands, that does not work for me at all. That is not the comedy that is within the Star Trek universe. That type of comedy is not the comedy that's in the Star Wars universe, which is why the comedy in the sequel trilogy doesn't work for me as well. Because that joke when Rey is like, no, that thing over there, that thing there, no, that thing over there, no, there, that thing. That's not funny to me, but that's what this type of comedy is.
It's like modern-esque comedy, like even in Last Jedi, where there's a Yo Mama joke to open up the film with Hux and Poe. No, now's not the time for that. Also, what is this song? Why? Hey, remember in the original series where Kirk sat on a tribble? Here it is again. You guys love that, right? And we did it again. Remember in the original series where they're walking out of the replicators and there's tribbles in the food? Oh, we're doing it again. Mm-hmm. It's okay, I've seen this and it was done much, much better 50 years ago.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know what this song is either, but it sounds like Bing Crosby or something like that.
Well, Johnny Appleseed planting apples across the country. It's like planting tribbles across the ship, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know exactly. Well, okay, Pike is the captain of the Enterprise, right? So it's at least, let's just say it's 3 years before Trouble Tribbles. You're telling me nobody anywhere filed this away in a log for anyone to understand when they finally met the Tribbles. It's like the Ferengi in Acquisition. That thing's kind of funny, though.
What about this Dr. Seuss gadget here? The
That's
Thingamasuck.
hilarious to me. I think that's funny. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, that totally looks like Starfleet technology there.
Now, the Tribbles, throughout all, and we can argue about what's on screen in canon or not, but in all the extra material and the animated series, the Tribbles were a biological, they were not genetically engineered by some crazy Federation scientist, right?
Yeah.
There was I believe it was a Glommer, was the natural predator of the Tribble.
Right.
If you remember from More Troubles on the animated series episode, written by David Gerrold, who wrote The Trouble with Tribbles. I don't know how much more authoritative you can get than that.
Yeah. Well, what does he know?
What does he know? So what that means is this: there's a Tribble home world. The Klingons went obliterated, like we say in Deep Space Nine. So I don't know. Just
it's
every angle of this is a failure to me. And call me an old-fashioned continuity snob, but I stand by what I've said here.
Not to mention that Tribbles are not fluid, so this would not quite work like this either. So.
And look at this. I'm not dumb. No, you're dumb. No, you told my boss I was dumb. How old are these people? These are professional Starfleet officers. Oh, look, he's dead. He got to, so funny.
Yeah. And I guess they ate him?
I guess.
I don't know. I guess they ate him, which is like a new type of Tribble.
And so now somehow these Tribbles, they expand past the ship and they survive the vacuum of space and or a spaceship crash to a planet and then continue to populate. I don't buy it.
So I don't know. I don't think that any of that happened. So I think she crashed her ship and was like, how do I come up with a story for this? It's like the Pegasus. They just lied to Starfleet, right? Like, it's been done before,
Well,
right?
they do it in Discovery. They lie to Starfleet.
Yeah,
It's
they
the
lie
exact
to
same
Starfleet.
situation, Brandon. Like
So it's not like it's not within the realms of possibility that somebody would lie to them.
These creatures